Let me take you guys back to September 27th, 2025. Man United had just lost 3-1 to Brentford, making it 17 losses in 33 Premier League games for Ruben Amorim. This was a run in which we collected just 34 points. At that point, Amorim's win rate was just 27.3% on the same day that Graham Potter was sacked by West Ham for having a 26% win rate. And you didn't have to look very far to find people that were piling on. Everyone with a mic and camera just wanted to add fuel to the fire. Here's what Steve Nicol said on ESPN.
I don't see how anybody could actually sit and think that somehow Amorim is going to turn this around. It really feels like he's dead man walking.
Dead man walking, guys. A so-called analyst paid thousands of dollars by one of the biggest sports networks in the world, giving us such shallow insights. And as an ex-Liverpool player, I can't wait to see what good old Stevie has to say about Arne Slot, because 6 losses in 7 after spending £450 million isn't exactly looking like Klopp 2.0. But that's fine. We expect this type of stuff from the media. We know there's a bias against Man United. We've seen it from The Athletic, from Sky, from ESPN. Talking shit about United gets them clicks, and they know it. What hurt me a little was seeing our own fan channels saying it with their chest. Amorim is worse than David Moyes. We might as well bring Ollie back because at least we finished second. The Portuguese league is crap compared to the Premier League. And as much as this hurt me, I was still okay with it because as fans, we're allowed to be emotional. We're allowed to worry about the club when we're struggling to win 2 games in a row. Heck, even some of you watching this right now probably wanted him gone. And that's totally fine. But fast forward almost exactly 1 month to today, United have won 3 games in a row by beating an in-form Sunderland at home, beating the title holders at Anfield, and beating our biggest bogey team, Brighton, at Old Trafford. 3 Premier League wins is all it took for football YouTube to flip-flop and say things like Mason Mount really looked good, Cunha ran the show today, and give Brentford another 60 million for Mbumo, he's that good. But what's the reaction to Ruben Amorim been? People are saying, I'm now backing the manager because he's changed the system? That's where I'm drawing the line, guys. You don't get to pretend like this team was losing because he wasn't listening to your tactics, and that we're winning now because he started listening to you. Because here's the thing, Amorim has not changed. His system has not changed. The only thing that's changed is the results. So in this video, I'm going to take you all the way back to Matchday 1 against Arsenal and show you that the changed system that we're praising today is exactly the same one that people wanted him sacked for in August and in September. So buckle up, guys, because this one's going to be a bumpy ride. And if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. So the very first myth I want to bust is this idea that Ruben Amorim is too stubborn in that he only plays a back 3 or a back 5. Guys, we need to level on something. It's easy to hate something that you don't understand. And with Amorim's 3-4-3, even Pep Guardiola took a minute to figure it out. Let's not forget, Amorim beat Pep 4-1 with Sporting, then 2-1 with United at the Etihad, and held him to a 0-0 draw at Old Trafford. That 3-0 loss this season was Amorim's first loss to Pep since February 2022. And what most people don't realize is that Amorim does not play a rigid 3 at the back. His system incorporates almost every single formation there is depending on the game state. In build-up, one of the center backs will often step forward into midfield and suddenly you're looking at a diamond with the goalkeeper. When defending, his wing backs will drop to make a 5-4-1 or a 5-2-3 that you're seeing here. When pressing, it's a 4-2-3-1 mid-block with one of the midfielders stepping up and one of the defenders stepping in to cover for him and the wingbacks dropping deep to form that back four. Because his system asks the team to play so many formations within one game, the players have to be positionally versatile. You're looking at the central center back becoming a CDM during the first phase of build-up. You're looking at the outside center backs becoming fullbacks when the wingbacks actually push forward and play more like wingers. The 2 midfielders are free to join the attack or play out wide as long as someone else takes their position. So basically, any one piece moves and the whole team structure rebalances itself. So when you hear someone say, oh, he's changed his system and gone to a 5-4-1, What they're really saying is, I've just started noticing something that United have been doing all season. And if you don't believe me, let's compare all of these shapes between the Arsenal game on Matchday 1 and the Brighton game on Matchday 9. So here's our build-up shape against Arsenal in the second minute of that game. We have Euro on the ball here on the right-hand side with De Ligt and Shaw forming this horseshoe back three that we've talked about before. Casemiro is slightly deeper than Bruno, and you can see Dorgu as the left wing back hugging the touchline over here. And Dallow's doing the same thing on the right-hand side off screen here. Going to the Brighton game, here we are in the 5th minute of that game. We have Shaw on the ball here with De Ligt and Euro forming that same horseshoe back three. Casemiro is again a little bit deeper than Bruno in midfield, and you can see Dalot now as the left wing back almost hugging the touchline, and Ahmad is off screen as the right wing back hugging the touchline on this side. The front three is narrow again, just like before, but the only difference is that Cunha has dropped a little bit deeper to pull the Brighton right back out of position. So you have two build-up situations with almost the exact same shape in two games that are 69 days apart. The individual players in both games are slightly different, but the roles and the tactical instructions from Amorim are the same. Now let's take a look at another build-up scenario. This is from the 24th minute against Arsenal. Euro is on the ball again, and we see a 3-2-5 shape in the build-up now. Casemiro is again a little deeper than Bruno. The front three is again narrow through the middle, and the wingbacks are again high and wide on both sides. Moving to the 13th minute against Brighton, we have Euro on the ball again, and again it's a 3-2-5 shape in build-up. Casemiro is a little deeper than Bruno. The front three is narrow through the middle, and the wingbacks are high and wide on both sides. In fact, if we go 5 seconds ahead in game time to 12 minutes and 21 seconds, Dalot moves up to hug the touchline, and Cunha becomes the central defensive midfielder next to Casemiro, which means this is still a 3-2-5 shape for the team in the build-up. So if you're starting to notice some of the trends that I'm talking about, don't get too giddy, because we still have to look at the defensive shape of Amorim across these two games. Here we are in the 11th minute against Arsenal, just before we conceded that goal. You have Saliba driving up the ball on the left-hand side, and you can see both wingbacks are dropped into the back line to form a back five, and both midfielders are marking the opposing eights in Rice and Odegaard over here. And our two 10s are ready to drop deeper into this midfield line or stay up here and press higher to make it a 5-4-1 or keep it a 5-2-3 as you're seeing right now. And we see that same shape again in the 12th minute of the Brighton game. As the ball is going from center back to center back, the front three are in the same shape. Bruno and Casemiro are in the same shape, and you see the back five here with the left wing back and Dalot dropping deep, and Ahmad doing the same thing on the right hand side. And if you guys want proof of the 5-4-1 shape as well, don't worry, because I got you covered. Here we are in the 23rd minute against Arsenal, and the wing backs have just dropped to form a back five. Bruno and Casemiro have now been joined by Mount and Mbeumo to form a midfield four, and Cunha is, as the striker, is up ahead by himself. And we see the exact same thing in the 2nd minute against Brighton, with the wingbacks dropping to make a back five here, the 10s dropping into midfield to form a bank of four, and Šeško this time as the striker up by himself. Just for good measure, guys, I'll also show you Luke Shaw specifically doing the exact same thing across these two games. Here we have Luke Shaw stepping out of the back line to tackle Saka in midfield. This is the 30th minute against Arsenal. And here we have Shaw stepping out of the back line to tackle Ruder in midfield. And this is the 61st minute against Brighton, just before that Mbeumo goal. And Shaw was basically doing this the whole game, by the way, because this is from the 14th minute where he's essentially stepping up to track Ruder wherever he was going. So guys, I've just shown you 6 different shapes in 3 different phases. Do you still think this is some rigid back 3 system? Or are we finally ready to admit that Amorim's 3-4-3 might just be one of the most fluid, versatile systems in football? So we've already established that Amorim's team doesn't just play a back 3. It flows through multiple formations depending on the phase of play. But what does that actually mean in terms of how United move the ball? Because shape is one thing, patterns are another. And if you really want to know whether a manager has changed their system, you look for repeated patterns of play. So let's look at two sequences, one from Matchday 1 against Arsenal and one from Matchday 9 against Brighton, and see if you notice anything familiar. Here is the first example against Arsenal around the 25th minute mark. Saliba has just intercepted a goal kick, and you can see United's backline is in kind of a horseshoe shape right here, with Dorgu being so far high because he's eager to get in behind, but you can see that he can still get back into position before Ben White can support Bukayo Saka up ahead. Now, as Bruno intercepts Saliba's pass right here, you can see Mbeumo and the whole team really just starting to attack now. And as Bruno runs forward, you'll see Mbeumo's up here on the right, Mount is up here on the left, and Dorgu is still on the halfway line here, and Dalot is still deep on the right-hand side. As we play further, Mbeumo tries this outside to in run and then back out in a diagonal fashion, and Bruno tries to find him through the middle of these two players right here, but essentially, you know, it's a very tight angle and a difficult run to make, so Bruno's pass is intercepted by Arsenal and they win the ball back. Now fast forward to October 25th, and Euro has just intercepted a Brighton goal kick late in the 3rd minute of the game, and he's passed it up to Ahmad over here. And tell me if this looks familiar, right? Because Ahmad is deep on the right-hand side, again forming that horseshoe backline that we talked about. The only difference here is that Shaw has stepped out to track Ruder here, but Dalot is further deep off screen here, marking the right winger. And in the Arsenal example, Shaw is the one marking the right winger, so Dorgu's a little further ahead, but still in position to mark the second man in case Ben White moves up on the right. Now, as Ahmad passes this forward to Casemiro, we're in almost the exact same position as the Arsenal clip that we just saw. Mbeumo here is on the far right, trying to run in behind, as you'll see in just a second right there. And Šeško is almost exactly where Mount was in the previous clip, and Cunha is almost exactly where Dorgu was. So the individual players have interchanged, but the team shape on the pitch has not. And then Mbeumo tries this out to in run over here, but Casemiro unfortunately plays the pass along the wrong line, and this play ends right there. So what are you guys seeing here across these two clips? Two near identical sequences, 69 days apart, with the same build-up, the same runs, and the same intentions. That's not a new system, that's a manager drilling the same principles at the start of the season and also 2 months into the same season. Alright, let's move to another pair of plays, this time a little higher up the pitch. Mbeumo has received the ball right at the edge of zone 14 and 15 here from Euro, and Diogo Dalot is waiting on the outside to provide support. Our striker Cunha is tied to one of the center backs. Mount, our left 10, is on the far side here next to the opposite fullback and center back, and I want you guys to pay attention to Bruno right here as we play the rest of this clip. Now Mbeumo turns inside and Rice comes a little tighter to him to free up this pocket of space right behind him, and as Mbeumo turns further inside, you can see Bruno is starting to make this diagonal run into space. Mbeumo dribbles inside a little bit more, Bruno makes that run into this kind of area, and then Mbeumo passes it inside to him, but unfortunately Odegaard comes very tight. He basically wrestles him to the ground in a second here, so we end up losing the ball. Now we go to a similar position here against Brighton, but this time Brighton's defense is a bit less settled because they've just given the ball away in their own build-up, but again Mbeumo has the ball at the edge of zone 14 here, and our striker Šeško is up ahead near the center backs. Bruno has kind of swapped positions with Cunha, and he's playing as our left 10 next to the other set of center back and fullback. And I want you guys to pay close attention to Cunha this time. Now, as Mbeumo turns on the inside, keep watching Cunha because he's going to make that same run into this space. And as soon as Mbeumo turns, we'll see Eerily stepping up to press Mbeumo here, which opens up that space over here. And because Cunha's timing is much better and he's kind of, way quicker than Bruno, he actually finds space and Mbeumo is able to find the pass in behind, and Cunha is able to get all the way to the edge of the box to do something more dangerous. Again, we're looking at two plays that are 8 match days apart. Both have the same build-up, the same triggers, and the same principles. Find a pocket of space between the lines and make a diagonal run into it. So Ruben Amorim did not change his system or his tactics, guys. The results have changed because player execution has improved. That is how we've gone from looking good against Arsenal but losing to looking good against Brighton and actually winning. That's exactly why Ruben Amorim was invoking the Pope when reporters asked if he'd change his system. He is not crazy and he never was. I hope you guys are at least one step closer to understanding what Ruben Amorim is trying to build. And I'll be honest, I haven't fully understood it yet either, but I am eager and patient to learn more across the 29 league games we've still got left this season. And I hope the Amorim Out Brigade can watch something like this and realize that this isn't Sunday League football where he's just hoofing it long. This is a complex, fluid system being built piece by piece, and Amorim isn't just some clueless ideologue. He's an intelligent tactician who can set up to beat any coach in any system as long as he has the players to execute his plan. So if you don't understand it right away, that's totally fine. Our job as fans is simple. Enjoy the football when it's good and demand better when it's not. But some of the Amorim outers should just do us all a favor and stop saying that we're winning now because he's changed his tactics. Because to keep your pride intact, you are risking your credibility. And for those of you that are listening to these Amorim outers, trust me, when we lose the next game, or 2, or 3, these guys will start saying, oh, his Sunday League tactics aren't working anymore, and that's why he's losing games. We owe it to ourselves to be more educated about our takes on Amorim and the system from now on. If we're losing, ask yourself if it's because of individual mistakes and poor execution, or is it because Amorim's system isn't good enough? Because Amorim hasn't magically cracked the code. He could still make tactical mistakes, just like the players can still make individual mistakes. In fact, according to Statman Dave, 89% of the shots we've conceded have come from individual errors, and only 11% have come from system errors. So think about that the next time you want to say, the system isn't good enough. And I'll link that video in the description because it is just chef's kiss, guys. Also, a big shout out to Rui Santos, a Sporting fan who's followed Amorim for the last 5 years, and he shared some fantastic insights with me that I'll be referring to throughout the season. If you've enjoyed this breakdown, please drop a like and subscribe to the channel. A lot of research went into this video, and I'd love to hit that 50k milestone that I'm so close to. Also, make sure you get in the comments with your thoughts. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.